Welcome friends. This video is about the 12th house of astrology. It's one of the most important Trik houses. As I have made previous videos on the 3rd house, 6th house, 8th house. So as to complete my series, this video I'll be talking about the 12th house. See, this is the house which is the loss of the Lagna. It is the farthest from the Lagna, and the person loses himself when this house comes into activation. And whenever the person is not able to focus, or whenever there is some kind of loss of self, then the 12th house comes into focus. Not only from the Lagna, but from any other house, this house holds lots of importance. I mean, with respect to any house, the 12th to that house holds lots of importance, and in KP astrology this house is very meaningful. So now coming to the components which are to be seen from this house. First of all, this is all about expenditures. This is all about hospitalization. Those people who are into hospital industry, or those who are dealing with jails, or people in defense, or people in law industry, can have lots of combination with the related to the 12th house, because 12th house deals with these areas. In mundane astrology, the 12th house also governs the war zones. So people in the defense industry are definitely going to have some connection with their 12th house. And these days, people who are working in multinational companies will also have a strong combination or connection of their 10th house with the 12th house, because 12th house also deals with abroad related matters. Those people who want to settle outside their country of birth can also think of going out in the dasha of the 12th lord, because 12th is about the abroad matters, and it's also about the foreign matters, foreign elements. It's also your imagination. It's also related to mysticism, meditation. It's the trinal house of your moksha trikon, that is the 4th, 8th and the 12th. So it is one of the trinal houses of your moksha. So people who are too much into meditation or spirituality will also have a strong connection with their 12th house, or there would be many planets present in their 12th houses. See, in the olden days, when there were not many options at that time, if any planet would have gone to the 12th house, or your 12th lord would have made connection with your any other house, at that time we would say that the person will incur losses related to that house, and there is no alternative to heal that. But in the modern day times, 12th house is also about abroad. So if you see any negative connection or combination in your charts related to the 12th house, you can suggest that person to move outside his country of origin. That will help him to a large extent. If your 10th house has a connection with the 12th house, in that case the person can work for a multinational company and he can do pretty well, but a government job will not suit that person in case there is a connection with the 10th and 12th houses. So those people who are very good writers will also have a very strong combination of the 12th lord with their 3rd house or the 3rd lords. And see, the 12th house should definitely be strong, and the best placements for the 12th lord is to be either in the 12th, or in the 6th house, or in the 8th house, or in the 3rd house, because these are the only places where the 12th lord would do good. In all other houses, it will spoil the strength of those houses. And any house wherever the 12th lord goes, that house will incur lots of expenditures. For example, if your 12th lord goes to the 4th house, and 4th house is about your property matters, so the person will never be able to have his own property, and that person would be living in somebody else's property or on a rental property. So this is a good connection for those people who want to settle outside. because the fourth house should be afflicted if you are looking to settle outside your country of birth. Under the affliction of the fourth house, the person can think of settling outside if your 12th house is also forming some connection with your fourth house. So see, the malefics, if they are present in your 12th, they will do you a lot of harm, and the person will have some vices also, and these people can embezzle with money matters, and they cannot be relied much, and the person can be prone to addictions if you happen to have malefics in this house. And if you happen to have benefics in the 12th house, then these people do good deeds. They are very charitable. They will spend money on those areas of their lives where it can benefit people of the society, and they will construct temples, and they will lend their money on charities, philanthropic work. So these kind of work would be seen if you have benefics in your 12th house. And if you have malefics, in that case these people will spend money on useless needs. And you also can see this combination of the placement of your 12th lord in the Navamsha chart. If your 12th lord has gone to a benefic Navamsha in the D9 chart, then you can understand that you will spend your money on honorable needs. And if your 12th lord has gone to a malefic Navamsha, then you will be spending your money on things which are not of much use. So malefic Navamsha is not good, and benefic Navamsha is good for you. And people having malefics in their 12th houses would be prone to accidents also. So in case you have any planet in your 12th house, you can fast on the days of those planets, and that will tremendously help you out. Suppose you have moon in your 12th house. I'll come on these planets in the 12th house after this. So if you have moon in your 12th house, you should definitely fast on Mondays so as to improve upon the karka properties of moon. Any other planet whomsoever is present in the 12th house, its karka properties are lost, because 12th house is the house of loss, and the karka properties would definitely suffer. So you can fast on those days. If you have Mars or Ketu in the 12th house, then you can fast on Tuesdays. If you have Rahu or Saturn in the 12th house, then you can fast on Saturdays. And if you have Sun in the 12th house, then you can fast on Sundays. If you have Mercury, then you can fast on Wednesdays. If you have Venus, then you can fast on Fridays, and having Jupiter, you can fast on Thursdays. So this way you will not suffer much in terms of the karka who are shown by the placement of these planets. Now the 12th house will form a Argala on the 2nd house, on the 11th house, and on your 9th house, and also on the 8th house. So Argala is kind of increment of that house. So in Gemini astrology we use this concept a lot, and there could be two types of Argalas. Argala means promotion. There is a benefic Argala, which means benefic promotion, and there could be a malefic Argala, which means demotion of that house. So talking about the 12th house, from the 12th, the 2nd house is getting a Argala through the 12th. Let me explain it the other way. Suppose we take your Lagna. From the Lagna, the 2nd house, the 4th house, the 5th house, and the 11th houses would be forming a Argala on the Lagna. So if you have benefics present in these houses, these benefics will promote your Lagna. And if you have got malefics in these houses, then they will demote the Lagna. So the same formula has to be applied on the 12th house also. So from the 12th house, 12th house is forming an argala on the second house. So if there are malefics present in the 12th house, they will give a negative argala on your second house, and they will also give a negative argala on your 11th house by being second to it. And they will also give a negative argala to your 9th house and to your 8th house. So all these 4 houses would be suffering if you have malefics present in your 12th house. So the person will suffer in terms of his bhagya, that is the 9th. In terms of lots of ups and downs in his life, he will be prone to accidents because 8th house is getting a negative argala. And in terms of wealth, the person may not be able to contain wealth because malefic planets are forming a malefic argala on the 12th house. So this is how you can look at it. And if benefic planets are present in the 12th house, they will form a benefic argala on your 8th house, on your 9th house, on your 11th house, and on your second house. So these all houses will get promoted, so you will have sufficient amount of wealth. But at the same time, we cannot ignore that the Karakas are also suffering when these planets are in the 12th house. So what can we expect then? Let's come to it one by one. So suppose you have Sun in the 12th house. Sun will give you lots of definitely vices are there because of Sun being present here. These people will suffer in terms of father's happiness, in terms of their luck, in terms of having a delayed progeny. They may not have a baby, or they will have a very delayed baby. The fame will also suffer here, and these people would also have some problems related to their authority. Health may not be up to the mark, and the luck, the fame is also delayed, or fame is also suffering. But if these people happen to live outside their country of birth, there they can do well. So this is how Sun will work in the 12th house. So you definitely can perform a remedy by donation on Sundays or by fasting on Sundays. Now, if you happen to have Moon in the 12th house, Moon is a karaka of mother. Moon is a karaka of your mind, emotions, your domestic happiness. It's about people. So all these areas who are the karaka of Moon will suffer by its placement in the 12th house. So the person can also be susceptible to being balarishta, that is fear of death or bad health during the early part of life up till the age of 8. So that thing can be seen, and the person is always under some depression or the other. The person is forever complaining. They will never have their peace of mind, and emotionally they feel very drowned, and they will have problems related to their mothers or their emotions. So these things will suffer. Now, if you happen to have Rahu in your 12th house, these people will never be able to have a peaceful state of mind. Their mind is always wandering, and they can do well in foreign lands, and they are able to see entities, or sometimes they can see paranormal things which normal people cannot think. Their mind is always under confusion, and they can also have vices because Rahu is a malefic planet, and but these people do good in terms of money matters because Rahu does well in the 12th house in that area. Health wise, they will definitely have some health issues, and this is how it works. Now, if you happen to have Ketu in your 12th house, Ketu will do well here because it's the karaka of moksha. The 12th house is the resting place of soul also after death. See, the 4th house is activated before death, 8th house is activated at the time of death, and after death the 12th house is activated. So this is the place where the soul will be resting. And if Ketu is present here, it will make sure that the person doesn't have to travel further to the next life, and the person can attain moksha. Similarly, in some texts it is also written that Jupiter in the 12th house can also help in attainment of moksha or rising to the level of moksha. So Jupiter will help in that regard. So coming to the planet Ketu again. Ketu is also a malefic planet, so it is going to form disturbance in the 2nd house, in the 11th house, in the 9th house and in the 8th house. So here the person will also see sufferings in terms of his luck, in terms of wealth. He may not be able to contain sufficient amount of wealth, and he will be prone to some habits which needs a check. Now, if you happen to have planet like Jupiter here, the person, see, Jupiter is a karka of spirituality. And before coming to Jupiter, let me tell you, if Jupiter, Ketu and Sun, Jupiter, Ketu and Sun, if these three planets are present inside your Kendra, then they will do you a lot of good in terms of spirituality. And if you have Moon, Venus, Saturn, Mars in the Kendra houses, then you are subjected to material happiness. These people are more towards the material side of life rather than the spiritual side of life. So coming back to Jupiter, so if Jupiter, who is a karka of spirituality, if it goes to the 12th house, the spirituality may suffer. But if this Jupiter is present in its own sign, or in its exaltation, or in its friend's sign, then the person will be truly spiritual and he will do very well in terms of that. The person can sit for very long hours of meditation. He can be a wonderful healer, and these people can be very good in terms of writing also. Also, Mars in the 12th house will do you a lot of good in terms of writing capabilities. So these people have got a very strong state of mind. They can think at large and express their thoughts. When Mars is present in the 12th house, it has got its 4th aspect on the 3rd house. So these people can be wonderful writers and wonderful in communication. Similarly, Jupiter here is also very good for your jobs, for saving you guard from the negativities of life, because here it is forming a benefic argala on your 8th house, on your 9th house, on your 11th house and on your 2nd house. So these houses will be uplifted by the presence of Jupiter here. So these people are very good with charitable organizations. They will love to donate their money for the benefit of people, and they will have a good check on their expenditures with the presence of Jupiter. But they will like to spend their money where it benefits the society at large. So this is how it works for Jupiter. And if you happen to have Saturn here, Saturn is not a good planet to be present here. It becomes extremely weak, and if Saturn becomes weak, the person suffers a lot. So it is very good for Saturn to be present in the 6th house, or in the 11th house, or in the Kendra, or in the trine. Here it does a lot of good. But if your Saturn goes weak by being present in the 12th, in 8th still lots of good it can do, but in the 12th it becomes very weak. It also gives you a condition like imprisonment if there is a negative planet or a malefic planet in the 2nd house also. 2nd house and the 12th house having a malefic makes a combination for imprisonment also. So in the 12th house, Saturn will give one lots of sufferings. The karka of Saturn is your career. The career part will undergo sufferings. The person will never be able to work sufficiently hard. The person will be of a very gloomy state of mind. He will be always complaining complaining and have doubts about future, and the person may not have a good sound health with this, and these people undergo lots of sufferings, and they are prone to accidents. If you have Mars, Saturn and your Lagna Lord present in the 12th house, in that case this person would be prone to accidents also. So this is how bad it could be. Now you can always do the remedies as I told you a little bit ago. Now if you happen to have your Venus present here, Venus will do you good in terms of bed pleasures because it's karka of that, but Venus will not do you good in terms of the other karka of Venus, like the person can have troubles related to his relationships, the person can have problems related to his kidneys, can have sugar related issues, the person can also have sugar related issues with Jupiter in the 12th. So with Venus also it will give you problems, and eyesight will suffer with Venus in the 12th. Also Sun and Moon also gives you eye problems in the 12th house. So Venus in the 12th will also give you problems in terms of saving money. Although it's a benefic planet, but with this kind of Venus, these people will want to spend money on the things which gives them pleasure. So they will not think twice before spending their money, and this is how they will find it difficult to save cash because Jupiter is a karka of cash. So, but Venus is a karka of cash, and Venus is giving a very positive argala on the 9th house, 8th house, 11th house and the 2nd house. So the person will also make a lot of wealth with this combination. So now coming to planet Venus present here, Mercury present here. Mercury is a planet which is not considered good in the 12th house in many respects. First of all, it's the karka of your education, about your intelligence, and it's also the karka of your maternal cousins, your friends, commerce. So all these areas would be under sufferings. The person will have big losses when Mercury is present in the 12th house in his businesses, not otherwise. So this person may not be very reliable also. They are very clever, very shrewd. Their mind works in all other places except in studies. They will not be very fond of studies, but otherwise they are very clever people, very shrewd people. And Mercury here, if you have Mercury present here, you should never go into doing any kind of businesses, and maternal uncles will suffer with this combination. So this is how the planets will work in the 12th house. Also, I like to tell you that see, those people who are very big yogis, as per Mr. K.N. Rao, at the time of their passing away, their 9th house and 12th houses will be very active. See, 12th house gives lots of spirituality, and those people who have got many planets in the 12th house can go into very deep meditations. They can be very big yogis also. So this house definitely plays a lot of role in being a mystic or in being a person who is a big time meditator. So these people can go into deep trance. If you have got planets like Venus or Mercury present in the 12th house, you can be a very capable dancer. I have seen many people who have Venus in their 12th houses and they have got wonderful foot movements, because 12th house is about your feet. So these people can be very good dancers. And if you have got Saturn and Mars in the 12th house, so you will be very fond of walking. These people will be fond of walking. So this is how I look at it. So friends, this was all about the 12th house in astrology, and If you have liked my video, please do subscribe and hit the like button. And I plan to come up with more videos in future. So I thank you all for listening. So see you very soon, friends.